I'm excited, brother. I'm excited. We got Frank the Barber's shop over here in Orlando. Let me see if I find it. That we're visiting today. And I know Frank for some time now. And he got some names in there that I've seen in battles and seminars and shows. Like my man Miami Barber, got Edwin in there. So he got a couple cats in there that I'm familiar with. But this is exciting for me because I get to sit down and talk to these guys. I haven't seen some of them since before the pandemic. And I've seen some of these guys working at other people's shops, and now being owners themselves is a really dope thing. You know, it shows growth, it shows evolution. So to be able to sit down with these guys, I think we found it, and have these sort of shop talk conversations and see where they're at today, how much they've grown, and what they plan on doing with the future from here is a really exciting thing. I mean, this is dope, you know. Some of these guys, like I said, I've known them from the come up, and now they're doing big things in the industry, got their own shows and seminars, and, you know, the student becomes a teacher, you know. So some of these guys, even Frank, I remember him, you know, at one of my seminars, you know what I mean? And now he's doing huge things all over the world. That's how we found it. Out here in beautiful sunny Florida. I love Florida, man. I love Florida. I love Orlando too. I can't wait to see what the shop looks like. I've seen it in pictures. I've seen it on Instagram, Facebook, but I haven't seen it in person. So I'm really excited to see what this thing really looks like. Let's go. Follow me. Oh man. Welcome, brother. Hey. What's up, beautiful shop.
Chico boom.
Hey.
I
haven't seen you since before the pandemic. Frank,
Honored to play con la pinta. Oh, papi. Nice, bro.
Beautiful. Thank you guys for having me, man.
Yeah.
At the beach, cut your hair.
It was
my new favorite product. Product of the day, product of the week, product of the month, product of the year. And I see you doing the Rolda thing now and everything like that. When did you guys first hear about Rolda? Because I'm gonna tell you a little backstory on my experience with Rolda. It was when I first opened Boom's Barbershop. We've been open about 11 years, maybe 10 years ago, maybe 9. I remember a guy walking into my barbershop and saying, mira, yo tengo unos gel aquí, que se esto, lo otro, estos son Rolda. And I was like, what the hell is Rolda? Like, you know what I mean? They're like, no, papi, vete, you know, check esto, and he was selling Rolda out of the back trunk of his car. And it was just a regular little beater, you know what I mean? So I buy this stuff. I start pushing the stuff, the guy keeps coming back, you know what I mean? Cada semana está viniendo para atrás con diferentes mercancías. Y yo comprando y vendiendo Rolda. Esto fue con Rolda, you know, back then. So then, he just disappears. I never see him again. So I couldn't get the product, I didn't know where to get it, you know what I mean? And it wasn't until I went to ATL, Atlanta, and I was doing Browner Brothers, and I saw Rolda again there, live. And I went up to the lady, and I said, hey, my name is da-da-da. I remember this product, the black gel, you know, el head negro, que fueron los primeros que tenían ese head, okay? Esos fueron los primeros. Y I was like, mi nombre es Chico Boom, y ella dijo, mucho gusto, mi nombre es Cia, y ahí empezamos a hablar. And I left her with a card, and I said, you know what's missing? You have this beautiful booth, and you know what's missing? And she said, what? And I said, me. Call me. Left the card, right? And I remember them reaching out like 3 months later, but I knew about Rolda back then. But then I remember you had got the position before me, and you were like, I remember Mo talking to me. I forgot where we were. It might have been Premiere. Yeah, and I remember Mo coming to me, and he's like, man, Boom, we need you in here, man. I'm trying to tell him, man, we need you over here, man. You know, this guy hosting, man, he ain't amping it up like you, man. And I'm going to keep talking to them. And I remember shortly after, that was Runners, Premiere, and then Bam, they ended up hitting me up, man.
Yeah.
So you know, but what was your first experience with Rolda?
So my first experience with Rolda was I had won a barber competition, and I actually got their product free in a goodie bag. And I went home, and you know, like everything else, you at least try it, you know. and I fell in love with the product, but I didn't have nobody around me was selling it at the time,
Right.
you know. So I was like treating it like caviar, bro, like only on top clients, you know,
Right.
like you get Rolda, you get this bullshit, right? So that's how it was, you know. I was like saving it. Then I went to another barber competition, and I won, and they gave me a whole Rolda goodie bag, right? And I took that to the shop, and I started using it. I really fell in love with the product. Now that I had all their options, you know what I'm saying? I had the power, I had the black, and I learned how to use them all, you know what I'm saying? And I went to another competition, and I took the same goodie bag with me with every product because I wanted to be prepared for every category I was doing. And when I walked in, our baby Sia, that's our girl, bro. That's,
we love
you know,
Sia. Shout out to Sia, man.
Yo, she walked up to me and she was like, hey, she's like, you like that product? I like, yeah, I love it. She was like, okay, cool, I'll be right back. And she brought me another goodie bag,
Right.
you know. And then I had won like I think 3 first places. And
another 3 goodie bags.
I got more goodie bags, right? So I was like,
I love this.
Loaded.
But people though, when Rolda gives out samples, they don't give out samples. They give you big jugs.
Yo, they give you the biggest, yeah,
everything, big.
And they give you one of everything they make.
Yeah, and I told him one time. I told the owner, I was like, "Look, Luigi, you gotta stop giving out this stuff. Like, do sample. No. Everybody gets Rolda. Everybody gets Rolda.
And when I was walking out with the 3 trophies and all these Rolda bags, she said, "Hey, come here," and she introduced me to Luigi.
Nice.
And then the rest was history.
And you've gotten your beard molested how many times? Because everybody goes up to him like, can I touch your beard? Can I touch? He told somebody, I'm gonna be on top. Oh, tu got tu barba, una señora. And he looked at her with a stone cold face and said no. And he said no.
Oh,
I was like, yo.
It's fun sometimes, but sometimes they just catch you on that day where you just don't want to be bothered. That's all. Yeah,
so, Frank, how about you? I'm gonna throw it to you. When did you first find out about Rolda?
It's crazy because I've always seen Rolda. Rolda's always been around. It's just I've never been really fond on a product itself. You know, it's always been there, just like every other brand has been there. Where I finally got engaged with it was, you know, when I opened up my shop. You know, this is now in August. It'll be 2 years. You know, one of the guys came in. He came in and said, "Hey, I'd like to speak to you." I'm like, "All right, cool." Which is what's, you know, being brandable in the shop is the key. You know, for the barbers to use something where we can create an income here as well. You know, and I'll go into like the product itself, but having a barber shop, seeing stylists and educating them, I went barbershop stylists. They get paid this. We get paid this. We out there educating stylists. You ask them how much they charge for a men's cut. They charge more than the educator that's teaching the class.
Right.
And then, you know, you try to figure out why. And it's why. It's because they just don't do the cut. They sell a product.
Right.
They sell a blow dryer. They incorporate services to upscale their prices. So when they came in, you know, I told them, he said, "What do you think about it?" I said, "Honestly speaking, I've never really used everything. Everybody knows the black. There's clients that walk in, yo, where can I get this? Da, da, da. I said, I really, Amazon, because I don't know who and where to get it from.
Right.
But, matter of fact, my barber Jay, there's a guy that comes in here, and now that we have the black, he's just happy because he's trying to figure out where to find it.
Right.
But the black was always something big. That's why you see a lot of others, mimicking. We're gonna have a leader.
You have the little black tint, makes the head darker.
And then not only that, they have the black gel, the black the pomade. So they have different stuff, beard. But when they came in and they approached me, I was contemplating what to actually sell into the shop. I've always been big on valuing the client. You take care of your client, they're going to take care of you. Now, when we had the conversation, I said, let me try the products. Let me see. When I tried the products, they all smell good. And smelling good is always a key, but not always the final result, right? And then if it works. So, you try on a client, let me know what you think about it. I need your feedback. Because these are the people that we really work on a day-to-day basis. If clients don't like it, man, I love it, man. If you had this, I would buy it. So at that time, you get it on Amazon. At that point, I'm like, I need to have this in my shop. We need to start making this. We need to start pushing this. Then having the conversation, I'm more into, if I'm going to give somebody something, I have to be able to stand behind it. It's like the company I work for, Clipper-wise. I have to believe in something. I'm not just going to do it because everybody else is doing it. You just can't do that. When you talk about Rolda, and they came in and they talking about they have something, how many times, I mean, here, with everybody that's here, do you have, man, I got dandruff, bro, you know, like, how do I tried Head and Shoulders. I mean, Rolda has a product for anti-dandruff. Rolda got a product to not bring your hair back, but everything in the sense of Rolda stimulates a root. It's how I like to see it. Whether it's bringing up confidence, and you know this because we've heard educators, and we know Danny, and he always says it. We're not selling haircuts; we're selling confidence, right? So if our haircuts can bring confidence, and we can back that up with a product to bring even more confidence, then you have a loyal client for life because now you're taking care of them. Correct. And that sounds amazing to me. And then I go into it and I say, well, listen, you know, I would love to do this, but I have to learn before I can actually do this. So then you go into studying the products and just having vitamins in your hair. So now you're putting a product, right? And you're not, like you said earlier, we're not putting garbage in the hair. We're feeding the hair. When you have a nice house, you got a beautiful house, right? You get fertilizer, make sure the grass is clean. Now we're not just finishing a haircut with just a regular product. We're finishing it with something that's going to enhance hair, that's going to help it stay there, secure our job, secure our position. It was a no-brainer for me. It's one of those things where if I can make that client feel and understand that, hey, hairspray, right? We all know hairspray. Oh, no, putting on hairspray kind of damaging. The Don Luigi hairspray don't do that. It's alcohol free. Yeah. It's got the vitamins in it to nourish your hair. We're nourishing your hair. I want them to make something that makes it grow faster so the clients can come in quicker.
One of my favorite products, the new products now is the oils.
Yes.
The hemp oil and the tea tree oil. Jairo, ¿cuándo fue la primera vez que escuchaste de Rolda?
Bueno, verdaderamente yo había escuchado muchas cosas de Rolda, muchas, hace unos años atrás, sino que todavía pues yo estaba en el proceso de hacerme dueño del negocio de la barbería, y ya después yo dije, bueno, si yo abro mi negocio y mezclo una buena marca de productos con mi negocio, voy a tener más exposición, ¿entiendes? Right. El negocio va a crecer más. Si viene un cliente, ¿qué es lo que tú le quieres ofrecer al cliente? Calidad. Entonces, ¿qué pasa? Llegaba el momento que como yo estaba crudito en eso, de ser dueño, una cosa es ser barbero, ser dueño es otra. Entonces, pues yo tenía ¿cómo tengo que educarme para tratar de darle mejor calidad al cliente? Porque todo cliente que viene con una visión, y la visión es salir con la autoestima alta, aunque llegue con la autoestima baja. ¿Qué pasa? Cuando yo hice el acercamiento, tú me puedes creer que yo llamé a Cristina, envié un mensaje a Cristina, Cristina, ¿sabes qué? Yo estoy viendo estos productos, a mí me gustan, y yo dije, yo tengo que incorporar a Rolda en mi barbería. Le envié un mensaje, yo quiero productos de ustedes, díganme lo que les quiero. Y empecé a usarlo. Y tú me puedes creer que desde ese entonces, gracias al Señor, a mí personalmente, me ha ayudado mucho porque la calidad de mi trabajo ha mejorado bastante. Ha mejorado en cuestión de los productos que estoy usando, porque eso define mucho un barbero, la perfección y el producto que usa, ¿me entiendes? Hay muchas personas que lo notan, inclusive te preguntan, mire ese producto, wow, huele bueno, qué rico, se siente sabroso, wow, la crema está suave, el champú súper, el aceite bestial, ¿me entiendes? Entonces eso te hace más profesional, hace que tu negocio suba más. Hay gente que lógicamente piensan que porque puede usar cualquier producto, no, solo por vender, no, aquí no se trata de vender, aquí se trata de darle mejor calidad al cliente, para que el cliente se sienta satisfecho. Y si tú tienes un buen producto, créeme que el negocio nunca va a caer, porque la gente lo que quiere es calidad y la gente paga por calidad.
Eso es verdad. Edwin, la misma pregunta. ¿Cuándo supiste de Rolda por primera vez?
2017 en Perú.
¿En Perú?
En Perú.
No en Puerto Rico, no en Orlando, en Perú.
En Perú. Estuve dando una clase en Perú en la Cosmo Beauty. Eso fue en el Estadio Jockey. Wow, había aproximadamente 2.000, 3.000 personas en ese evento. Entonces Rolda era uno de los main sponsors en todo el evento. Bien grande, increíble. Me acerco, veo que la tarima es la mejor que tienen, estoy mirando los productos, pego a probarlos. Y rapidito me dieron una bolsita para que probara todos los productos, me los llevo a Puerto Rico. Ya luego que me los llevo a Puerto Rico, empiezo a tratarlo, empiezo a trabajarlo. Creo una comunicación con la familia de Rolda. Empiezo a hablar con las personas de la página, obviamente no conozco los nombres en aquel momento, ya básicamente ya soy parte de la familia, ya estoy aquí con todos ustedes, ¿verdad? El día de hoy, gracias a papito.
Bienvenido.
Gracias, gracias.
Welcome.
Te estuve esperando. Te demoraste, ¿qué pasó?
Tardaste mucho,
A tiempo.
Era ahora. Mira, pues entonces algo de las cosas que a mí me llenó de ánimo y trabajar con la compañía fue de la manera en que te tratan como familia.
Seguro.
No te
Siempre.
tratan como un educador más, como una persona más. Donde comen uno, comen todo.
Eso sí.
Y siempre comemos italiano.
Siempre italiano.
No, sí.
Eso sí.
Carmín.
Gracias a Dios me dieron los hijos. Al neo italiano me dieron carne. Mira, no, pero ahora hablando de los productos, esa fue la primera vez que me pude reunir con Rolda, fue en Perú. Cuando llego aquí a los Estados Unidos, estoy buscando para mi compañía, para Celebrity Barber Studio, algo que sea exclusivo para la barbería. ¿Por qué exclusividad? Un negocio no puede confundir a su cliente. Tú no puedes tenerle diferentes tipos de productos porque le estás creando confusión. Hoy le pones un producto de un olor, o el otro día le pones otro aroma. Entonces el cliente se halla por el aroma porque quizás si no ve el nombre o no se lo muestra, lo tiene de espalda a lo que es el espejo, él no está viendo que le está aplicando. Ahora, tú quieres ingresar dinero a tu bolsillo, tú quieres ganar más dinero en tu negocio, el cliente tú lo cortas el cabello de frente al espejo, le pones tus productos de calidad. ¿Por qué tienen que ser exclusivos? Porque si tú le das al consumidor algo que consigue en Walmart, te lo va a comprar en Walmart,
Eso sí.
no te lo va a comprar en la barbería. Si tú quieres añadirle valor a tu trabajo, tú tienes que enseñar lo que quieres vender. Pero si quieres venderlo, tienes que conocer lo que vas a aplicar. Entonces yo trabajo mucho con lo que son los acabados, los finalizados en los cortes. Esa es mi dedicación. Yo hago mucho peinado, yo hago muchos cambios de imagen en barba, todo lo que tiene que ver con acabado. Entonces los productos me ayudan a realizar mi acabado. Si yo quiero dar un pompadour, yo utilizo el Pomade Power. Si yo quiero utilizar, acabar una barba en excelentes condiciones, yo le aplico el Beard Oil. Tengo champú, tengo acondicionador, tengo diferentes opciones para trabajar la barba. Si yo quiero trabajar, yo me caracterizo mucho en los peinados clásicos y peinados tradicionales, en los modernos de ahora. Yo uso el sculpting spray para poder darle elevación al cabello. Entonces la línea me compone todo. Tengo el hairspray de Luis, que es el que me ayuda a sellar ese peinado. ¿Qué está sucediendo en este caso? Yo no puedo confundir a mi consumidor, porque si yo quiero venderle un producto, él tiene que ver que todo lo que yo estoy utilizando es de la misma compañía. No puedo confundirlo. Si lo confundo, soy yo el que estoy quedando mal ante los ojos de él, porque yo mismo no creo en lo que estoy utilizando. Porque yo no puedo decirle, este es el mejor, pero este es el que tengo para vender.
Yo nunca entendí por qué algunos barberos tienen un producto, vamos a decir, a frente en el display, pero están usando otro producto diferente. O sea que ellos no tienen la mentalidad de yo voy a usar el mismo producto que tengo aquí para venderlo también.
Porque no tienen el conocimiento de lo que están vendiendo por vender el producto. Volvemos a lo que llevamos en todo el día de conversación. Esto se llama educación. Si no nos educamos con un producto, ¿cómo podemos venderlo? Quieren vender el producto como si fuera un Walmart en una barbería. Comprar el Clubman o whatever one, lo que quieran, para venderlo sumamente rápido, porque se vende y ya. No, tienes que educar, ahorita lo estabas diciendo, tienes que educar a tu consumidor. Tú tienes que enseñarle qué es lo favorable para su cabello, qué no le maltrata, qué le ayuda para que no se le caiga el cabello. Muchos de nosotros tenemos poco cabello porque utilizamos esos productos que tenían mucho alcohol.
Que no nos hemos hecho uno para que crezca pelo.
El año que viene.
Edwin, quiero preguntarte, ¿qué consejo le puede dar a la gente que están viendo esta hora y los seguidores de ustedes?
Mira, yo de verdad, yo quiero darle un consejo bien grande, y es que, por favor, edúquense. No se dejen llevar por lo que ven día a día. Hay barberos que quieren ser artistas, no artistas de reggaetón, como esos artistas, cadenas grandes, fancy. Pero primero hay que educarse y hay que crear una base donde tu familia y tu sustento esté bien. Disculpa que lo traiga el caso, que esto es de las cosas anteriores que estuvimos hablando, pero ahora mismo yo estoy pasando por un proceso de vida con mi esposa que le dio cáncer.
Wow.
Eso no ha salido en las redes sociales.
Wow.
En el día de mañana mi esposa va a ser operada de su proceso. Hoy estamos aquí, mañana no sabemos. Cuiden su familia antes que nada. Todos se desviven queriendo ser la vida de otra persona. Todos quieren ser el artista de redes sociales que es fulano de tal. ¿Y tu familia para cuándo? Cuando no estén ahí no te la puedes disfrutar. Cuando no estén ahí no puedes hacer nada. Y lo paro ahí porque es fuerte.
Dame un abrazo, papi. Un abrazo, porque eso está difícil. Eso está difícil, hermano. Voy a seguir orando por ustedes, por tu familia. Es un tema bien difícil.
Complicado.
O sea, y Jairo, la misma pregunta. ¿Qué consejo le puede dar a la gente viendo esto hoy en día y los seguidores de ustedes?
Bueno, yo le diría que antes que sean líderes y no sean seguidores, que traten de autoevaluarse ellos mismos, mirarse en un espejo y decir que yo quiero para mi vida. Si yo quiero ser igual que aquel o quiero buscar el verdadero yo que tengo dentro de mí. La gente no sabe que la verdadera batalla la tiene uno mismo con uno mismo. El peor enemigo es uno mismo. Uno nunca puede estar buscando ser igual que el otro porque tu estilo es original. Nunca va a ser copiable. Tú eres único en este mundo y siempre será. Yo le digo a esa gente que está viendo que esta industria es buena y es un talento que Dios nos lo dio a todos y todos lo vamos a desarrollar, pero hay que tomarle dedicación y tiempo y sacrificio. Vas a tener que sacrificar muchas cosas. Tú puedes tener un niño hoy y mañana creció y no te diste ni cuenta cómo creció por lo ocupado que has estado. Nunca dejes de soñar. Sueña por lo que quieres, los sueños son los que nos mantienen vivos. Día a día tienes que ser mejor persona y tienes que tratar de buscar un oriente que te vaya a llevar a ti a cumplir todos tus sueños. Pero fuera de todo, lo más importante, que es la clave de esto, es que no saques a Dios de la ecuación. Dios es primero, segundo y tercero, y sin Él nada es posible. Con Él todo es posible. Dale la gloria a Él y deja que Él coja el plan de tu vida en sus manos y hoy, porque hoy yo estoy aquí gracias a Él. Igual Edwin, igual Frank, igual el caballero aquí presente y todo. Es lo más que le puedo decir.
Frank, words of advice for the viewers, your followers, people starting out?
There's a lot, but I'm gonna keep it brief and simple. First, students coming into this industry, make sure that this is something that you want to do. I know barbers that were cutting and they no longer cut no more. Make sure that you love what you do for a living. Make sure you pursue what you love. Don't do it because you see me or any one of these guys here and they, oh wow, they're successful, they got businesses, they're doing this, they're doing that. Because you never know what's behind the door. Edwin just shared something that was really touching and made me feel some type of way. I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray that everything's going to be okay. But for the students, understand that it's going to take a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication. This is not a free ride. Don't. What I post, what everybody else posts, it's not that. No, I post everything, so you guys are going to see it. I didn't know you worked at 4 in the morning. I'm right after you. I'm here at 5 to 10, 11 o'clock at night. Then I'm driving to where you're at, 3 hours, 3.5 to cut a ball play. And then from there, flying out, coming in. And I haven't slept in 48 hours. But it's stuff that I want to do and I have to do to achieve what I want to achieve because I have goals written down. It's the only way I'm going to do it. But I would suggest before you even finish school, write a plan, put it on your wall, and look at it every day. And make sure that every day you're pushing towards them goals. Consistency is key. You'll get somewhere as long as you're moving. For the barbers that are already in the industry, and stylists, mind you, if you're trying to reach your goal, again, consistency, don't give up. Sometimes, you know, I always see that meme, right? We all see that meme all the time where it's a guy chopping at it and then he's walking away from it and the goal's right there. And for a lot of us, we're really close to what we want to achieve. But a lot of times, and I told somebody at the barber battle this, and this is going to touch you guys, and you guys are going to feel this at the current moment. The easiest thing to do is judge my neighbor. I don't know how he work like that with that beard. I don't know how he builds clients. Yo, that's crazy, right? That's easy. Yo, I shouldn't dress like that. Look, bro, I don't know. It's easy. The hardest thing that you're going to do is look in that mirror and judge yourself. Mm-hmm. And I challenge you to do that at the current moment that you're watching this video. Leave this video, right? Go to the mirror and judge yourself. Look at yourself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because what you attract is what you put out. You're going to be a reflection of what you want to receive. I said last night to some guys that asked me, you know, when you first go into and you're trying to build up a clientele, you go and you pass out business cards. But understand that if you pass business cards at the $15 all-you-can-drink joint, that people are trying to party and have a good time for $15, and you go trying to charge them $35, $40, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. But if you go, and you know what, we'll do that. Why? Because we're comfortable. Growth goes, and you'll get growth when you put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Right? Where's the uncomfortable situation? The wind down Wednesday, all the way the doctors go, because you don't even know how to dress there. You're out of place. But it's where when you're out of place where you're going to draw that attraction. Everyone says the chains and this like that, right? If you look at who's wearing them chains and who's doing that, and booms, you came from the street too, it's street people. And you're going to try to convince street people to come and pay you this money, right? But then if you take a look in the mirror and go and change your outfit right now currently, just look at what you're wearing and put something else on. And if you look a little bit more business, like if you look, take a look at Chico today, right? If Chico right now passed you a business card, you know that haircut's not $20. Mm-hmm. Off rip, it's not $20. Yeah. I can tell because I know how Chico talks. Chico's like, I like to cut your hair. Matter of fact, I'll cut your hair for free. Whiskey's on me, I'll give you the first cigar free. Yeah. Come on, man. Come on. But you know what? You know what people are scared of? Free. I challenge you to give. Give somebody. You want somebody in your client? Put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. I've asked people, hey, you ever go up to somebody in a Lamborghini and ask for a haircut? No, never. But you went up to the guy with the Honda Civic, expecting what? And again, not saying anything. I drive a 92 Volkswagen. I love it. Not saying that I can't afford a haircut. But it's not that. We're scared to put ourselves in a predicament to grow. The only thing that's going to stop you is that reflection in the mirror. So my thing is, and the best advice I can give you, that if you want current change in your life, si tú quieres cambiar tu vida en este momento, mírate en el espejo, mírate el reflejo de lo que está mirando, cámbialo y va a haber un cambio en tu vida.
Nice. I like that. Mo, that's deep right there. Mo, follow up. What's a word of advice you can give to some of the viewers watching, some of your followers, people starting out?
Man, you know, basically, man, in anything that you do in life, you got to have passion first. Because if you don't have passion for something, you'll never be able to do it for a long time. And if you have passion for anything, you'll be able to do it long enough to see the success that you seek in it. I see a lot of people start a business, don't follow through with it, they don't put their all into it, they don't get what they're looking for, and then they go do real estate. Then they don't get nothing out of that, and then they come back and try barbering again. They don't get nothing out of this, now they fixing transmissions. You gotta have a passion for what it is you do so that you can see it all the way through to the most successful state. So have passion for anything you do, and you know that like I said, man, like just if you don't love it, bro, it's like you won't be able to do it to the fullest. You won't be able to do it with all your heart. Specifically in the career that I'm in with barbering, I tell people you got to be passionate and fall in love with the art form that is barbering. If you fall in love with the art of barbering, the money will come, man. The money will come so much that you won't even know what to do with.
Nice.
Chico, quiero añadir a las palabras de Frank. Si quieres en algún momento progresar y quieres ser mejor persona, yo creo que hay que mirarse en el espejo primero. Ese barbero que critica al otro barbero no va a ningún lugar. Hay muchos así, pero yo creo que debería de tener más cariño por su prójimo, porque a final de cuentas todos van al mismo lugar y todos se dirigen al mismo lugar y todos van a darle comida a su familia. So, hay que mirarse en un espejo, evaluarse y decir, ok, esto es lo que está mal antes de criticar al prójimo.
Michael Jackson had a song, and it was always one of my favorite songs, and he said, "I'm a man in the mirror."
Changed
He
my
said,
life.
"I'm starting with the man in the mirror."
I'm asking if
And I'm
to change his
change
ways.
his ways.
Yeah.
And that's deep right there. You know, looking at yourself in the mirror, acknowledging your faults, acknowledging your wrongs.
Hardest thing you ever
know what
gonna
I
do.
mean? And listen, it's something that has helped me. Like, just saying, hey, I'm wrong. You know? And a lot of people think, oh, Boone would never. I humble myself.
Y lo más duro es aceptar.
Exacto,
aceptar
exacto.
si estás mal o no.
Exacto.
Y no señalar. Tú sabes además que cuando tú haces así, estos 3 dedos te señalan.
No,
a ti.
Exacto.
Entonces, eso es algo bien complicado. Lo más difícil de este mundo es pedir permiso y pedir perdón. Y el orgullo es lo que está dominando parte de esta industria. Por eso uno tiene que dejar el orgullo al lado, porque somos figuras públicas donde la gente nos está mirando a nosotros para llevar un crédito más de aportación y mentalmente a esa gente que quiere crecer. Hay que darle un buen contenido, pero un contenido limpio, un contenido que cambie alma y limpie mente, ¿me entiendes? Que las personas te vean como un ejemplo a seguir, no te vean como, wow, sí, por la película que tiene, sino que dice, ¿qué tiene ese hombre? Yo quiero lo que él tiene, ¿me entiendes? No económico, sino laboralmente. Yo quiero ser como él, pero en la manera en que él se desenvuelve. No como porque en un carro lo puede tener cualquiera, positivamente, un carro puede tenerlo cualquiera, ¿me entiendes? Alguien tiene buen crédito y puede tener un Maserati. No, ¿cómo tú vas a poder tener ese Maserati? Otra cosa, no es tener el Maserati, es pagar el Maserati, porque muchos lo tienen porque lo tengo, pero pocos lo pueden pagar. Hay gente que deja de pagar su renta por pagar el carro. La vida no se vive así. La vida se vive primero tú, segundo tú, y tercero, lo material.
Y hay gente que están viviendo en un apartamento de 1 cuarto, 2 cuartos y tienen BM, tienen Mercedes, tienen...
Pero mira, ¿qué es lo más importante? Mira, yo pienso que lo más importante, antes de tener un buen carro, es tener un hogar donde ese carro duerma bien.
Exacto. I mean,
verdad.
I'm gonna give y'all
Estar recogiendo sereno.
I'm gonna give y'all some free game because that's, you know, my thing is advice, and you know I always like to give people advice. So to all the viewers, to all the people starting off, to everybody watching this right now, you know, I'm gonna give you some keys. I wrote a book on these keys. It's literally a book on advice, and the first one I'm gonna run through them real quick is time. You know, don't play with nobody's time, and don't let anyone play with your time. Understanding that you only have one time on this earth, and your time will come to an end. The second thing I'm gonna touch on, and it's a little bit of what you touched on, was image. You know, portraying yourself as the person that you want to be treated as. I dress like a boss because I want people to treat me as a boss. I don't want you to treat me as a custodian. Treat me as a boss. You know, I always humble myself as a custodian, and I'm cool with that. You know, I take my general hat off, and if I got to be a lieutenant, I'll be a lieutenant. But I dress as a boss and conduct myself as so. So your image is everything, especially in the beauty industry. You can't make somebody else look good if you don't look good. You know, keep a cut, keep a clean face. Keep a nice image, keep clean clothes. You can dress however you want to dress. You know, that's up to you, but be clean. You know, next thing I'm gonna talk about is customer service and consistency. Always treat everybody good. The same people you're gonna see going up are gonna be the same ones going down. How you treat people is gonna determine how long you last in this game. So great customer service and consistency is key. We are people for the people. We are servants of the people. We're here to serve people, to make people feel good when they step in our establishment. How we treat that person, saying hi to them. When people come in Boone's Barbershop, all my barbers are required to turn to that door and say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't want no cool guys. I don't want no gangsters. If you want to be a cool guy and a gangster, go to the streets. But this is a professional establishment where we're going to treat people good. The customer isn't always right, but we're going to treat them good, and we're going to have that consistency. Communicating people. The old saying goes, Closed mouths don't get fed.
Perfect.
If you're having a problem with your boss, if you're having a problem with a barber, if you're having a problem with a customer, open your mouth and say something. If you need help on a haircut, on a technique, open your mouth and say something. If someone is really irritating you, someone's getting on your nerve, if you're having problems with your spouse, with your children, communication is key to any relationship. So you're not going to have those relationships unless you develop communication. And the last key I'm going to give you is discipline. Discipline yourself to get up early in the morning. Discipline yourself to exercise. Discipline yourself to stay off of social media as soon as you wake. So some of y'all wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is grab your phone and see how many likes you got for the post that you put before you went to bed. Shame on you. Don't make that social media, that telephone, your God. Whatever you give your most attention to, that's going to be the thing that you worship the most. So don't worship the phone. Don't worship social media. Some of this, people are portraying images of lifestyles that you can't afford and they can't even afford it. Those cars are rented. The clothes is bootleg. The jewelry is fake. I'm telling you, people, stop trying to portray lifestyles that you can't keep up with. Discipline yourself to put the cigarettes down, to put the alcohol down, to spend more time with your children, to invest in your family, to invest in yourself, to save money. A lot of barbers get the money, they spend the money, they get the money, they spend the money, and they're like little hamsters in the wheel, and they're running and running and running and running, and they're getting nowhere. So discipline, and those are my 5 keys I'm going to give y'all on some words of advice.
Okay,
So I hope you guys took that in.
Yeah.
So last thing I want to wrap this up. Yeah, I want to wrap this up with new school versus old school. What do you prefer, Edwin? ¿Nueva escuela o vieja escuela? ¿Qué tú prefieres?
Yo, nueva escuela.
Nueva escuela.
Yeah.
¿Por qué?
Depende a todo a lo que se deje saber lo que es nueva escuela. Soy muy trending con lo que son los peinados, colores, enhancement, todo lo que tiene que ver con el acabado.
Cosa que no existía antes.
No, por eso digo nueva escuela. O sea, todo depende a lo que le llamen nueva escuela. Yo le llamo nueva escuela lo que son los extras en la barbería. Soy fanático de los extras, soy fanático de añadirle servicio a mi trabajo. No soy una persona de hacer un fade regular, done. Un blowout regular, done. No. Yo le añado a mi trabajo. Así sea un hot towel, así sea un steamer, así sea un facial, un glass mask, hay un sinnúmero de cosas por hacer. So, una persona que solamente tiene un fade como nosotros dos, con el 0 arriba o con el 1, hay muchas cosas por hacer. Hay muchos servicios por venderle. Enhancement, hot towel, le pone el steamer, le pone el scrub, le pone el gas mask, le pone una crema de rosa.
La máscara, black man,
Mano,
la barba, la ceja.
100 easy.
Easy, absolutely, absolutely. Jairo, ¿nueva escuela o vieja escuela? ¿Qué tú prefieres?
Verdaderamente yo es una combinación loca, pero la nueva escuela comparte de la vieja escuela. ¿Por qué? Porque la nueva escuela se ha perdido mucha esencia de la vieja escuela. Hay muchas cosas bonitas que antes de verdad se vivía en el momento, no sé, donde todos empezamos, inclusive, poniendo de ejemplo esta barbería. Ahora tú ves muchas barberías súper elegantes y se ven hermosas, pero si tú miras esta barbería te transporta a un pasado que es súper grandioso, ¿me entiendes? Y es lo que nos mantiene vivos. Mira cosas más bonitas. Entonces, ¿qué pasa? Hay muchas cosas que antes se hacían que ya no se hacen, pero como uno creció con eso y está con eso como que hace que uno vuelva a vivir el tiempo. Pero la nueva escuela verdaderamente es un proceso grandioso, es donde la moda se está ahora fortaleciendo, donde todo es fancy, donde viene un cambio de imagen total, donde pues incluyendo las redes es algo donde pues todo el mundo puede llevar a cabo un proceso de crecimiento, sobre todo económicamente. Antes era mucho más difícil. Eso es un porcentaje más que se le puede dar a la nueva escuela, porque no solo nada más en el trabajo de la barbería, también en los extras, como dice Edwin, ayuda mucho más en cuestión de economía. Yo creo que pues, la nueva escuela verdaderamente es lo que sigue implantando, y ahora los productos grandiosos que están saliendo como Rolda es lo que están haciendo los cambios para que todo sea evolucionario.
Right, old school versus new school. Which one you prefer?
Easy.
Ready?
I'm a leader of the new school. You know? That's what we called ourselves back then. So, as you can see, the shop is very traditional, old school. So I respect it. I gotta respect where I came from. It's just I got to. You know, people that was there before me. for the old school people that are watching this, I've talked to a lot of old heads, old school people, and they're stuck with the fact of, you know, I ain't doing none of that. No, hell no, I'm just doing my haircut, da 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 da. I feel like, let's give you an example, right? If this is closed, I can't feel it, right? There's nothing wrong with old school. When I talk to old school barbers, I learn the most. Matter of fact, when I cut my morenos and I do my waves, that's all came from Philly. That came from Atlanta, Bronner Brothers, learning. But if I was an old school barber, I already know how to cut hair. There ain't really not much to learn. Well, I ain't doing all that. I get my money, I'm comfortable again, like I said before. But I feel like when you do this, right, and I go here, put a little bit in there, old school, right? You've been cutting for 20-something years, 25 years, something
20.
like that. You 25 years, I'm 11 years. How long you been cutting hair?
15.
15, you?
25.
I'm like, I must be a new school person, huh? But if I can do this and fill it up with old school, I can fill it up with new school, and my cup can be full. You know, so when it comes to like old school and new school, I respect the old school, but I can't stay stagnant. Where's my phone? My phone, my son has it.
It's up there.
You got your phone? You guys got your phone? What phone? Well, let's put it like this. What kind of phone do you have? Right? iPhone what?
¿De verdad?
Newest one.
No, the last one.
What phone you got? ¿Qué teléfono tú tienes?
Samsung 4.2.
¿Qué teléfono tú tienes?
10.
¿Qué teléfono? Right?
Oh.
What happened to the sidekick? Remember the Motorola? Why are we not using that? Because we gotta move with traditions. I feel like where the diversity comes from is the fact that if we can't do what's in the present moment, I've always said this, and this is why I move, and this is why we all move the way we move. There's always that young buck coming right underneath us. And not that we don't want him to grow, but we gotta stay, because it's sad, because I know barbers that I used to get haircuts with, and they're still in the shop. They won't do social media. No creen en los sociales, eso no sirve. Yo tengo mi cliente y estoy bien, no tengo que crecer, yo estoy bien, boom. But what happens is this new school kid comes in with all this technology and takes over. Y después, what they say about barbers, right? They don't die, they fade away. Now you stuck at point A. I feel like I don't want to ever be in a position where I have to start, where I got to start building clientele again, where I got to start doing this because I lost all my clients, because I don't want to move on to what it is people are doing. If next year we're putting on hair and gluing this and we're doing that, if next year Bad Bunny se pone ceja, not ceja, what do they call eyelashes? Then guess what Frank gonna be doing next year, Papi? Look. You know why? Because I want to stay relevant. We're in a career, watch this. You said it in the beginning. We're in the fashion industry, right? And if we don't, Stacy cuts. Right? Not a lot of people know her, you know. And then there's a lot of people that do know her. She's in Cali. She's taking over the union. Cuts the biggest people in the world. She might not be the best on the videos and all this other extra stuff, but she's making bank.
I worked in a movie.
She's putting wigs on a movie. She just did Coming to America, and she did that Wesley Snipes stuff. Now you tell me, even me, I can't do that. I just can't. But now I'm like, I gotta learn. Because if I need to be there one day, and hey, I got somebody over here, he needs a wig, well, damn, I don't know how to do that. I just shut my stuff down because I want to stay old school. Now, there's nothing wrong with old school. I feel like it's important because it brings value to what you are today. When they come in here and I can speak to them about this is what we used to use, these clippers, this is what we used to do, it shows that you really care and you're passionate from where you came from. Not only that, but you're giving due diligence to the people that were there before you. But I feel like new school is where it's always going to be at. Because right now, today, it's going to be the past. And when we're here 10 years later, we'll be talking about this current moment, and we might be doing mohawks, or we might not even be doing this. It might be a whole different thing. It's an industry that continues to change because fashion changes. So I feel like I'll have to go with the new school.
Motion, new school versus old school.
For me, it's a combination of both. When it comes to the haircuts, the trends, the fashion, the style, you know, I have, you know, the knowledge of the old school, and I take that and use that, you know what I'm saying? But I also am open, like Frank said, to learning all the new things in new school. So when it comes to the actual art of cutting hair, however the industry changes, I'm flowing with it. But when it comes to the actual culture inside the barbershop, I like the old school culture. I like when people could come in and just sit around and talk. You know what I'm saying? Some of these new trends I'm seeing with barbers cutting hair with headphones on, and you know what I'm saying? This client comes in and the first thing you do is stick a camera in his face. Like, you don't even know if he's okay with that. Like, you got a new client, you never cut his hair, he's a walk-in, and the first thing you do is do a 360 of his head with the phone. Then you ask him what he's getting. Like, you know, like, yo, like, you gotta draw the line somewhere, man. Like, you know, the new school stuff is cool, it's trendy, you gotta stay on top of your craft. You don't ever want to fall behind, you don't ever want to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, I tell people, I'm always a student. I'm always a student. I've gone to barber battles and won 3, 4, 5 first place trophies, but before I did that, I sat in Kenny Duncan's class. I sat in, you know, DL Master Barber's class. I sat there and I came, got educated, then I went and competed. You know, I sat in a patty cuts class and watched him do a low fade, and then I competed in low fade and won. It was my first time winning first place in low fade and beard because I have never seen it done. I didn't know what other people called a low fade. You know, when you say that to barbers in different states, they hear different things. Now with social media, it's a little more unified. Everybody pretty much has an idea of what a low fade is. But prior to that day, to me, when somebody would come up to me and say they wanted a low fade, it's like low on top, skin faded. You know what I'm saying? And when I saw Patty Cuts do that, and I saw that tight fade, that the blend stayed short, it stayed right above the hairline and followed, you know, it just dropped around the ear, I was like, oh, that's what they call a low fade? Okay, cool. And I went out there and I slayed that shit. You know what I'm saying? But could I do that if I didn't sit in that class? No. I wouldn't have the 11 low fade trophies I have now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always a student to the new things, and when it comes to my craft, I always want to move on with the new school, but the actual culture, the tradition, the respect, the community activism, I want to keep that old school.
I agree with you. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna piggyback off that one and say you touched on everything that what I was thinking when I was asking you guys the question. And I respect every one of your views. When it comes to that particular thing, I'm new school as far as evolution, evolving and continue to create continuing to develop as barbers, as artists that we are. I think we have to have that new school mentality. When it comes to the culture, as you say, I think we have to have that old school mentality. I'm not with, you know, going on the street with a pair of clippers and putting a homeless man on video for views. That person's at the lowest point of their life, and here I am with my camera because I want to be known as the guy that gave back the most. Exposing him, and I think that's disrespectful. I'm not with, you know, walking into a barbershop and seeing guys in flip-flops and tank tops. I feel like you should have respect for your client. Have some sneakers on, have some shoes on. Don't come in there with open toes. Don't go in there with a tank top and then you have him lean back in your chair and you're reaching over to do his beard and you got your sweat dripping from your armpit right on his face. I think that's disrespectful. I think it's disrespectful to have your headphones on and not communicate with your barber or with that client. I think it's disrespectful when we have hair on the floor and when you only sweep after yourself and you don't sweep for everybody else.
Super.
I feel like it's disrespectful when you don't clean back to the shop that gave you money all day long. So you didn't, I call it a cash cow. The barbershop's a cash cow. And you're milking it and milking it and milking it, but how do you feed it? You feed it by cleaning it. You feed it by taking care of it. You feed it by nurturing it. That's how that cow continues to grow. I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with barbers coming in at 11 o'clock in the morning and working till 3 and leaving. You know, old school was you got there early in the morning and you stayed there until the shop closed. You know, I'm not with barbers learning how to be barbers just off of YouTube. That's okay to take those continuous education courses, but go to school and actually get a license. That's what's required by your state. If you live in a state or in a country that doesn't require a license, fine. but become an apprentice first, become a student first. Don't think you have it figured out. I don't think it's all right for a student that hasn't mastered the craft to be charging extraordinary prices. I think that you should work yourself up to that. You know, I'm not okay with a lot of things that the new school is doing. But I have a new school mentality because I keep up with the trends of today. And I think that's what a lot of you were basically saying, you know. And I like the new techniques. And I like the big hair. And I like the color. And I like the crazy, you know, new stuff that we're able to do, and the way we're able to express ourselves as artists and have better canvases than just doing those waves or just doing those afros or blowouts.
It makes it more interesting.
It makes it more interesting. I'm sick of just doing
It's not work.
blowouts.
It's different. You change
Right.
every day. You
Right.
change every day.
Every
So-
day we continue to evolve.
You stay on the same page.
Yeah.
You're tired. You
Right.
know?
So I would say that I want to mix of both. I want to be a new school artist, but I want to have the fundamentals of an old school barber. I want to be able to greet people. I want people to come to my barbershop and feel safe. And they're not going to get robbed. That they're going to get shot. That there's not going to be no curse words. That there's going to be music playing with curse words or dirty content. I think that those are things that a lot of barbershop owners and a lot of barbershops today overlook and don't respect. So there's a lot of things that I think that the old school offers and it's fading away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's fading away, and if we continue to allow it as leaders that we are, I think it was going to deteriorate the market. It's going to deteriorate us as barbers, as professionals. The people are not going to respect us as the professionals that we are. Oh, he's just a barber.
That we get
Oh,
that
he's
all
just
the
a
time.
barber.
Yeah.
And we get that all the time. I don't want to be, the minute you treat me as a barber is the minute I treat you as a client.
Woo!
Straight up. I am not your barber. I'm your therapist. I'm your stylist.
Yeah.
I'm your groomer. I'm the guy that you cry to when you're going through a divorce. I'm the guy that you cry to when you can't see your kids.
Perfect.
I'm the guy that you cry to when you lost your job and you need a free cut.
I'm there for your graduation.
I'm there for your graduation.
I'm there for your wedding.
Always. I'm there for every special event of your life, your children's life. I watch your kids grow up in my chair. Treat me as more than a barber, and I'll treat you more than just a client. So again, new school with a nice blend of old school. But that old school fundamentals and those old school morals and values, to me, are priceless.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, we all gotten to where we're at through our different paths, through our different journeys, through our different hurdles and bumps that we've had to go through and go over. You know, and Rolda brought us together to be able to break bread and to continue to grow, motivate others, to leave our mark on the products that they continue to release. But that's what this whole thing was about, to motivate and inspire young barbers, up and coming barbers, old barbers, people that used to be barbers, people that want to become barbers. We wanted to share a little bit of our stories to these great group of gentlemen who I call friends, who I call colleagues. So we appreciate everyone watching. We ask that you please tune in again. Follow these gentlemen on social media, and we'll post it on the page so you're able to support them. Great barbers, great leaders, great talented artists, great educators. When you talk about barbers, these are the type of people that I envision, that I see, that come to my mind when I think of what a barber is supposed to be. You know what it is. It's your boy, Boom, baby. We out.
Trabajo, chicos.